Dear parishioners and friends, good day to all of you. And upon a special request, I had to do a risotto. Risotto with saffron, which is also called risotto alla Milanese, which is risotto from Milan. I'm from northern part of Milan, a place called Varese. So we use a lot of these ingredients. And of course we start with rice to make risotto, and we use carnaroli rice, and then saffron is the main ingredients. Saffron is it's like a powder, but comes from the pistil of the flower, and this is the flower. Can you see that, right? And so it's really hard to find, especially here in Victoria, and it's also expensive. So every time I have friends going to Italy, I always say, bring me some saffron back, and they do. Then we use a small onion and a shallot, butter, because northern Italian cuisine uses a lot of butter, and I will also use I add a little of olive oil, because if it's too much butter, then liver is hard on the liver, so I add a little bit of olive oil to take out some butter. Then we have marrow, bone marrow, beef bone marrow, and this is particular characteristic for the risotto alla Milanese. And then Parmesan cheese. I think I use, this is the inside of this bone marrow. I'm gonna make 3 portions for 3. Probably I use this. I think it's enough, or I can just use a little bit of more of a small one. And so here we go. So how much rice we're gonna use? I don't know, but I use what my mom used to say all the time. For each person, 2 handfuls for each person. Okay, so this is a handful. So you may ask, well, what kind of hand? Goliath hand, big, or David little hand? Well, it depends. If it's for Goliath, you use a Goliath hand. If it's David, you use David's hand. So we have here 6 handfuls for 3 people, plus a little bit, because I may have a David's hand, but I have a Goliath's stomach. So we're gonna cut the onions. Everyone cut onions in different ways, so I guess I'll go straight right in the half and a quarter, and then take the skin out. Now, because we are doing a risotto, we don't want to have big chunk of onions, so we're going to cut it a bit smaller pieces, so that it kind of melt inside. So this is the white onions, and now we cut the shallot. I don't know you guys, but every time I cut onions, I get always emotional. So as I said, we're gonna use this and maybe a smaller one. And the marrow is just amazing for the taste that it releases. Okay, I think this is enough. Maybe for 3 people, that probably is enough, abundantly enough. So as I said, we're gonna use a little bit of olive oil. just a bit, and a bit of butter. We're gonna use butter twice, one now for the onion and the marrow, and one at the end. Don't ask me how much. This much. And now we turn it on, kind of medium low now, and then we turn it low after, and we let this melt down. One thing I didn't tell you about the ingredients, and because it was on the table, is actually we need a stock, a broth, in order to make a risotto. So what I made yesterday, I made a chicken broth, and in the chicken broth I put pieces of chicken and one onion, celery and carrot. Okay, so we melt now the butter. The butter is melting, we add right away the shallot. And the onions. And we let the onion to take color. As the onions and the shallot are starting to soften, we put the marrow inside, beef marrow, and we let this melt, and will melt with the onions. Now that the onions and the marrow is almost melted, we can add the rice, and we let toast the rice. Nicely. So far, no salt, no pepper, nothing yet. We add that later. Also, don't forget the broth has already some salt in it. So we have to be very easy with salt. The particular notion of risotto is that you can't do it and leave it on and then go and do something else. Risotto need attention, it needs affection, and so you need to stay with it all the time. That's why it becomes a creation of love. Now, I forgot about another ingredient. We can say secret ingredients, but it's not, because it's mandatory for the risotto Milanese or with saffron. It's white wine. How can I forget white wine? So here we have a white wine. Maybe have a glass like this. And so this is the time we add the wine. How can I forget? I don't know. Now the rice is a little bit toasted, roasted, toasted, whatever you want to say, and it's the right time to add the white wine. Always save a drop for the cook. And now it's getting kind of dry. Now we can start to add the broth a little bit at a time. That's why risotto need constant attention. So we can start now. Risotto is not steam or boiled rice, so it never go too much liquid, but enough, maybe just at the same level, maybe a couple of more now. Okay, no more than that for now, and then we keep adding. Now, one thing you can notice in the broth, if you see the broth, it's still all the pieces in it. I didn't strain the broth as it should be, but you know, to be perfect, we should, you know, maybe strain the. But you know, I don't, because I kind of like it like this. And you know that perfection is not something that we achieve. Perfection is always something we aspire to perfection. But we can never be perfect. Only God is perfect. We can only achieve, aspire to be perfect. And I like to keep the broth like this, raw, shall we say, no? Okay, you can go low now on simmer, and maybe a couple of more. We're almost ready to add the saffron. Couple of more minutes and then we add the saffron. So again, for let's say 3 people, we use 2 small package. The flour, you see, it's very, very tiny. It's the essential of the flour. 1, and let's use another one. Ready. We can go straight in, or we can put some liquid, some broth, and let it melt. Nice red. And then we add it. You see the color? Beauty. Okay, so we're almost getting to the end. It has been probably 15 minutes since we put the rice on, and usually for a risotto will take 20-25 minutes. And you know, you see, this is to be perfection, you know, is something that we cannot achieve, because you see these pieces of marrow, didn't actually melt as they should. But you know what? I like it this way. I like it this way. And now we look at the cream. How great is the cream? And still we haven't put the final butter that we put at the end, and the Parmesan cheese, and then we do a final stir, which, you know, in Italian means, you know, making the cream. In Italian we use the word mentecare, you know, mentecare. Turn and give oxygen and make a nice cream. So we are about ready to do that for the final touch. It's actually 20 minutes, and we put the final touch of butter, Parmesan cheese, not all of this of course, because we're gonna put some at the end. Okay, And now we stir. And it's ready. At this point, we'll turn it off and we'll let it sit for a couple of minutes. Enough time to open a bottle of wine. So, a couple of minutes are done, and as you can see, consistently is great. Now we need to see if we need salt, because I haven't added any salt yet. Definitely need some salt. How much? I don't know, a couple of pinch. And then a nice stir. And then you can always add more salt on the plate. And we're gonna bring it on the table. We're gonna dish it out just to be fancy. This is great for three portions. That's perfect. Cheese. And now we're ready for that question that we always have after we cook a meal. It is good or it is not good. The only way to find out is to taste. That's good. This is good in the sense that the goodness of God, the eternal goodness of God, can be revealed in these little simple things. God bless you all. Cheers.